Howdy, my name is Nonat, and today I've just got a sort of quick, simple video for you guys about something I just kind of feel like complaining about. So many of my videos have been positive and praising TTRPGs, but some things about them do make me a little upset. So I thought today would be fun to just talk about my pet peeves about TTRPGs. These are in no specific order, there's no specific severity to each one. This is just a short list I thought of where I was just thinking of what can I complain about today. I just really wanted to complain to you guys today. So that's what we're gonna do. But before we jump into that, I really quickly just want to say that tomorrow you will be getting another episode of Advanced Archetypes. We'll be covering the next 6 down the list, and I think with that we'll be about halfway through, which is exciting. And then after that, you guys are going to be getting something very, very special. So look forward to Advanced Archetypes tomorrow, and then the next day getting something very interesting. But with all that said, let's get on with this list of my personal pet peeves in tabletop role-playing games. The first one really hasn't become an issue until very recently, when playing online, especially with different groups, has become more common. Now, luckily, this has never befallen me as I've been able to talk my way through it, but I do know people who are suffering from this, and I dread the day I'm going to be forced into it. And that is online groups that deny you the ability to use physical dice. For me, one of the most fun parts of this game is getting to shake and roll those dice and drop them on the floor. And when that gets taken away, so much of my agency and immersion in the action actually gets stripped with it too. It is not the same as rolling a Discord bot or rolling in a fake tabletop like Fantasy Grounds or Roll20. Just seeing numbers pop up is not the same as rolling the dice, recognizing the number, doing the math, and delivering it that way. Is it slower? Absolutely. Is it more fun? For me, 100%. I just feel this connection with the action when I'm the person rolling the dice and I'm the person doing the math and delivering that final number versus a program which does all the math for me, pops it up for me, and everyone else gets to see the result at the same time as me. Now, granted, a lot of people have issues with this while online because of the trust aspect, but honestly, if you can't trust your players, what's the point? They could easily lie about their inventory, about something they said in the past. There's a lot more they can lie about beyond dice rolls. Can they lie about their dice rolls? Absolutely. Should they? God, I hope not. If they're lying about their dice rolls, get them off your table. Maybe talk to them about it first and give them a warning. I just know that for me, the dice are such a big part of the fun, and if you take that away, it just takes away something really special. The next one is a tiny one, but also a huge one. Nothing takes me out of the game more than if the DM role-plays my character for me. Even something tiny. I've had multiple experiences as a player where my DM will just describe, oh, your character goes and opens the door. I'm like, wait. I didn't say my character goes and opens the door. If I want to open the door, please let me open the door. It's such a small thing, and to some of you, this may sound like a complete over-exaggeration, like all he made you do was open the door. But it takes those puppet strings connecting me to my character, and it slowly clips them, so that I'm just a little bit less attached to that character, because it's not my character. Even for that brief moment, it was the GM's character. Now, I can understand. You can say, I'm going to investigate the treasure chest. Then I'm fine with the GM saying, okay, you rub your hands over the top, you look around the back, and you touch it like this and that. That's fine. If you interpret my actions, my generic action, and give it detail, that's totally fine. But if you open the door to a room, and the DM just says, there's a treasure chest in there, but as you go to open it, it explodes. Well, I'm like, I didn't open it. I didn't say to open it. That example is a huge over-exaggeration. That has luckily never happened to me. And a GM, especially if something is trapped, would never throw a character at the trap on purpose without their triggering it of it themselves. But it's little things. You open the door. You stop on the street because you feel something and you look over your shoulder. I don't know, it's little things like that really take me out of the immersion of my character, And yeah, personal little gripe. I'm sure some people are totally okay with it, especially because it usually keeps this game moving smoothly, which is absolutely the GM's intent. I know for a fact none of the GMs that have done this did it because they wanted to rip control of my character away, It's because they need to get the story moving forward, and maybe the last hour of gameplay of me sitting in a room reading a tome wasn't exactly exciting for them. Totally understand that. But yeah, this definitely goes out to all the GMs out there. Be very careful about what you make your player characters do. Think about that. Think about how they would feel if you do something for them. My next gripe is the inverse, where as a GM, this is my pet peeve against players. And this one is super common. Everybody has dealt with it, and everybody does deal with it. Player characters who fight to the death for no good reason. If they are in the woods and they are fighting a dire wolf and things are looking, well, dire. If they have the option to attempt to climb a tree, to attempt to run away, to strategically slow the wolves down and flee, they're not gonna. They're gonna keep swinging their weapons and slinging spells in hopes that the enemies die before them. And this is such a roleplay disconnect for me because the player characters, they don't want to die, That's a big disconnect there, is people will be on one hit point and be like, I'm gonna attack again. Like, maybe for some characters, maybe for that barbarian, that makes sense. But if you're a rogue, and you're a smart tactician, mastermind rogue, and you're dropped down to one hit point, chances are you're not going to keep stabbing. Chances are you're going to duck away and run away and hide somewhere or climb a tree or just do something to get away. Part of the problem is that a lot of systems use attacks of opportunity, so running away is almost never the right choice because you're just giving the enemy an extra attack on you, and that's understandable. Sometimes the rules do get in the way of this, which is one thing. Shout out to Paizo for Pathfinder 2e. Most enemies, especially at the lower levels, don't have reactions like that. So positioning and repositioning are super important in Pathfinder and thus rewarded, and you're able to do it without as much punishment. But this also has become such a staple in the community of, you don't run, you fight, and you either win or you lose, that people will get upset and mad at you if you roleplay the situation. If the people I played with watch this video, they'll know exactly what I'm referring to, and I still get heat about this to this day. And comments, I'll let you help as well on whether I was in the wrong or not, because I have been told I was 100% in the wrong from a gameplay perspective. From a roleplay perspective, it is justified, but from a fun perspective, I will admit I was in the wrong, and there is a line to draw between fun and story. Effectively, what had happened is our entire group was tracking down a werewolf, and we were only about level 3. There were 4 of us, and we tracked down a werewolf to a cave. We get into combat with the werewolf. I don't remember the exact classes. I think it was a fighter, I was a sorcerer, and we had a monk and something else. I'm pretty sure it was another martial class, but that's unimportant. Basically, they all run in, I stand back, I throw a spell, they all attack, and it's like, okay, cool, we're doing some damage. And the werewolf attack once critically hits and knocks out the fighter in one hit, just down on the ground, nothing we can do. And we're like, okay, this is bad. Another round goes by, my character's like analyzing, fires off another spell, the werewolf goes and drops the character whose class I can't remember, we'll call him a rogue, even though I don't think he was a rogue, drops him down to like 5 hit points in like one hit. My sorcerer's turn comes up and I'm analyzing the situation. The monk is fighting fist to fist. Our rogue is down on his last leg and the fighter is unconscious. My sorcerer in roleplay just met these guys that day. Because my original character had died and the sorcerer was a brand new character I'd rolled up. It was the same first day my character met up with these people. And in roleplay, my character was thinking, this is a death sentence. If we keep fighting, we're going to die. I just met these people. I'm not going to die for these random people I just met today. And I ran away. My sorcerer fled, was never seen in the campaign again, left the campaign, and I had to make a new character, which is completely understandable. He couldn't return to town showing his face with the rest of his party members dead. I think one of them did manage to escape. I think it was the monk, because monks have ludicrous movement speed. I believe this was in 3.5, maybe 5th edition. It was one of the two. But yeah, I got tons of flack from my friends for abandoning them in combat. Even though it made sense in roleplay, they were upset as players because I, the player, left them to die. Not because my character had every reason to run, but because me as the player made the decision. So, I don't know, maybe I was in the wrong, but this is just my whole gripe, just returning to my original pet peeve of, I wish players would run more often, or strategize, or lead into traps, or something like that, rather than hitting things over and over until they die, or the enemy dies. That's my big pet peeve, that's what I'm trying to get across here. You guys got a bonus story out of it, so there we go. Another one that is similar to what I just talked about, but again, on the inverse, when I'm the player, I hate it when I do something stupid, the DM has the easiest opportunity. Let's say I'm in melee with this other melee enemy, and I have like 2 hit points. But for no reason, rather than downing my character, the enemy just turns and walks away and starts attacking a different party member. And I'm standing there, bloodied, beaten, and I just take my turn, and I'm like, okay, I guess I'll keep casting spells. That annoys me. When the DM has ample opportunity, and it makes sense for the monster to knock unconscious or even kill my player character, I want it to happen, you know? Not because I want my character to die, but again, it brings me back to that immersion, you know? If an orc has stabbed you twice in the chest, and you're crumpled, you're heaving breath, and it comes back to his turn, and he knows he could blow on you and knock you unconscious, and he just leaves you and goes somewhere else, that just kills it for me. He would in no way ever leave me alone. Now, I'm not advocating for GMs to knock unconscious and then keep stabbing until they die. That is much less fun. Again, it brings up that line of fun versus immersion. But I do think that knocking a character unconscious, does not kill the fun. I think it ups the stakes and the tension and brings everyone even more into the fight and gives a sense of urgency. And as well, once an enemy knocks you unconscious, they know you're not a threat anymore. Then it makes sense for them to move on. Yeah, some enemies could kill you on the spot, but especially being knocked unconscious without checking, they might already think you're dead anyway. You know, he stabs you through the stomach with a spear, and you crumple to the ground in the heap. Yeah, technically by gameplay, you're unconscious, but that orc might think you're dead, and especially with 3 other party members to deal with, they'll turn their attention to the more imminent threat. So that's that big gripe of DMs. Even though you might think you're doing your players a favor by ignoring their character and not knocking them unconscious, it breaks immersion. And again, this will change, all of these opinions will change from table to table. If you are all okay using digital dice, no gripe. If you're all okay with the GM minor role-playing your character for you, that's totally fine. If you, as a table, are fine with fighting to the death and not strategizing and running away, again, if you're having fun, you're playing correctly. That is totally fine. And if you guys don't want your characters to die and the GM is on board with that and just happens to let you live, again, completely fine. Role-playing games are designed to be played so that everyone at the table are having fun. These are strictly my personal gripes and pet peeves, and everyone's welcome to their own. And my final pet peeve for today's video. Thank you guys for watching, by the way. This was a lot of fun. Again, like I said, advanced archetypes are coming out tomorrow. Something special's coming out on Tuesday. This is a lot of fun to make, albeit a little bit short. I hope you enjoyed. Be sure to like and subscribe. And my final pet peeve in tabletop role-playing games is fighters.